All right, we are recording.
Hello.
Thank you for playing for us. So I have
welcome.
just a few more questions. These don't really pertain more to music. More as I saw in your Bandcamp bio that you are an ex-ghost hunter.
Yeah, that was a long trip. It started in roughly 2011. At that point in my life, I was living out in Oak City, North Carolina, not Raleigh. That's kind of where it got its namesake from. But, you know, I took a job out there in Tarboro, and it's a colonial town, Tarboro, really old. Lots of history anywhere you go in that town. So, of course, I liked that place, you know. But I was young, you know. I just got out of the music scene at that point. I was kind of lost and didn't know what I wanted to do, but I was interested in a whole bunch of... Sorry, I edited that out. But nonetheless, working at that Tarboro Walmart, I met some people there that happened to be interested in that stuff. And come to find out, one of them was, like, publishing a newspaper for doing ghost hunting and stuff. And I'm like, we need to know more about this guy. And, you know, start chatting with him more and more. I got friended with him, and him and his cousin were starting a new paranormal society. And they wanted me to kind of, like, be their new guy, you know. And I was like, yeah, I jumped at the opportunity. Sorry, I got word salad here. Jumped at the opportunity of that. But ultimately, it all fell apart, you know, after he ended up getting a different job and kind of changed his lifestyle a little bit. So it left me at the reins of it. So I sat for a while waiting for him. A whole year later, nothing ever came around to it. It's like, all right, screw it. I'm changing it from Green's Paranormal Society to 252 Paranormal Crew. I dropped crew later just because it sounded kind of corny, and it sounded more like a rap posse than it did a ghost hunting organization. So, yeah, I don't know. It kind of like morphed little by little into that, and it was always me at the helm of it, you know, as far as things going there. We didn't have so many official things, but I was young. I was, how old was I? I'm trying to remember at the top of my brain right now. I remember being 19. Then by 20, I was like, at that point, I said, screw it. And then I started my own thing, and that was when YouTube was like still really fresh with this stuff. There was no other channels really trying to put content out there. And so I saw the opening, you know, an alternative type style series, you know, all DIY, no editing, hoopla, just bare bones. You know, the fans of the paranormal will get it. That's what I was going for. Didn't know what I was doing. Used a bunch of copyrighted music when I was making the videos later. Screwed up big time. And those videos are still up there, and I've been meaning to like unlist them, you know. Just because I don't know, really corny time, but, you know, I was so young doing that. Then it all fell apart, like, within maybe, like, 5 years after that, I want to say, when we peaked. But it's kind of hard to keep people that are so young together long, too. You know, it's like, I think at that point, we were a few years in, and 4 of our people were already getting married. They were already moving as well, so I saw a change coming anyway, so it was just kind of back and be with the realms, you know, so I had to bring in more friends. That's when I started to let more people in, you know, like as far as our videos, I'll be like, hey, we're doing your place, you're welcome to be there with us, or bring your friend or somebody that's a skeptic, so people at home know that we're not lying or whatever, you know. But that also became problematic down the road, so I kind of stopped doing that too. But the years kind of rolled into that, then health complications like kept me from doing any more of it, so I took like a hard break. But yeah, it's been a long time getting back to where I've been comfortable doing this type of stuff, and then for the years I didn't, you know, ghost hunt, and I was wanting to be a musician again, so I was like, maybe I should just take these memories and just mold them into something, or just create experiences that I think somebody would appreciate, you know, or speak it through a third persona, you know, from the perspective of ghosts. That's a tongue twister for me right now. Sorry, I haven't had a lot, but yeah, songs from that perspective, and then just stuff that's generally made up and wacky. It's kind of how that kind of came around, but yeah, I owe a lot to ghost hunting for that stuff, even though it was a very brief period of my life that I pretty much dragged out for way longer than I needed to.
Do you have any, like, particularly, like, freaky stories?
Oh, man, so the one I always like telling, I know I probably varied the story a little bit here and there over the years, but it goes back to our time in Oak City, North Carolina. You know, sorry. We had a neighbor that was... her family had been there for a long time, and I got to know her, you know, my cousin, she came back, you know, staying with her grandma, so, you know, we occasionally, some summers, we go over there, hang out, and this is when YouTube was still, like, brand new, you know, way before I ever had the idea of being a ghost hunter. So we were, like, just chilling over there, like, thinking of YouTube videos to watch, 'cause it was still that early, you know, everybody come over to school, like, what do you hear about today? Let's look this up, so, and they're at the computer having fun, my brother and my cousin, and another one of my cousin's friends was there, and she was kind of cool, but I was really awkward young teen, so I didn't really want to seem weird, you know, and run off friends or whatever. So I'm trying to play it cool the whole time, you know. And meanwhile, like, I'm looking over at the computer standing up in the kitchen area. I look to my right, and I see what I thought was my brother with his hands flushed beside his body like a penguin, running like the claymation Demons in the Gate movie, you know, like high speed. And I'm like, what in the world? I saw him, and I started following after him at this point. So he goes down, he curves, and he goes that way again, and goes straight down more, and goes all the way into like the back bedroom to the right. And I'm like, I don't know, see what he's doing. He's messing around in their bedroom, just doing something stupid, you know, kid stuff. But I go in there, and nothing. I was like, oh crap. Look behind the door, even under the bed, you know, nothing under there. It was pretty much just flush to the ground from what I remember. But like, I was like, he didn't get up these windows. I'm tripping. You know, this is embarrassing. I gotta go back in that living room now and explain why I ran all back here awkwardly to my friends, you know, my brother. And I'm kind of coming back there in my tail between my legs, and they're just looking at me weird, of course. And like, what do you do? I'm like, I was chasing Dylan because I didn't see my brother when I came back in the room. And he comes out to the side of me there, looking out the back door. He's like, I've been there the whole time. And I realized the version I saw of my brother was wearing different clothes. My brother was wearing white clothes all the time. I chased this figure that was wearing a red all-over print shirt, you know. So that was like, oh. And then her grandmother, like, stops the TV, turns around. You just saw my husband back there. He died of cancer, you know. And I'm like, huh? How did I see your husband, my brother? that didn't translate. So I'm thinking, like, doppelganger. You know, like, I always heard stuff like that. But I was like, man, for that whole week, I really thought I was going crazy. And then days after that, my brother was hanging out there. I wasn't there for this time. But my cousin was sitting at the computer there doing the same thing, you know, chilling. And she looks over to her right, looks, where did my Dylan go, you know, and friends of my brother. And my brother is like at the left of her, and he's like, what are you talking about? She does this, you know, freaking out, like, oh my God, like, I knew I saw you go down the hallway. And I was like, there you go. Lightning strikes twice, and that is as it was. So, yeah, it's just one of these tales, but nothing's ever proven. It's just personal experience. But, I mean, as far as, like, stuff that I've done, like, it been scared, like, it didn't really happen when it was, but it's, like, fun playback. It's when I got scared a lot of the time. So, like, doing stuff when you hear, like, an EVP playback that you didn't otherwise, like, quiet place, you know? But, yeah, stuff like that. I mean, feeling touched at times or hearing things through the spirit box. Creepy. That was disturbing. One instance right there, my friend Morgan Hudson, we did an episode with her. You know, she came through here and did an episode, I know. But years before that, we did a ghost hunting episode of her family's, like, church graveyard grounds, and we filmed so long. I had a bag full of camera batteries. I went through all of them. And it kept giving us answers, and it was her father speaking through the ghost box. And it made it so intimate. You know, we kept going. Even when my camera stopped going, we kept it going. You know, we're just talking to him. And at one point, we crossed over, and allegedly there was, like, a buried infant that was left over there. You know, it seemed like a myth, but whatever. It happened to be true. And I remember, like, we passed that corner, and you heard that cooing baby crying in the background. Like, I was like, oh man.
Creepy.
And that was the first time in my life where I felt true dread, you know, and it messed me up because I was like, man, how do you rationalize things after that, you know? Hearing something so pure that you would think, oh, if there's afterlife, it would definitely be there. So I mean, not to get too deep in the weeds there with that thought, but yeah, I mean, that was like one of the instances that made me realize, like, wow, this is real for me. And I don't need anybody else's validity for anything, but this experience I have with my friends, like, I'll always remember it, and they do too. So it's one of the things that's like, man, like, even that same day my brother got in a car wreck, and I was like, holy crap. Things have just, it was a crazy day that day. But yeah, that was probably the more memorable instance where I think something like left a mark on me, you know, versus that and having a personal first ever experience with a ghost.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for your time. Man.
Appreciate y'all. I'm all over the place with my words today, sorry.
You have anywhere you want to plug? An Instagram, Bandcamp?
Bandcamp, of course. All my music's free to y'all if y'all want to download it. I'm on every streaming platform out there as well. Yeah, Instagram, Stone Age Skills. Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, well, this has been y'all. A session with Stoney
Sills.
My bad.